Shall we start?
Yeah, go on then.
Right.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to... We've got a name now.
Yeah, we do.
Raging Cinephiles.
Oh, that's
Because
nice.
we are raging.
Raging. There's a lot of
furious.
connotations there.
No, I think we're quite calm, actually. Or
Yeah.
I suppose we can get quite raging when we want to.
Calm cinephiles doesn't work as well.
No, but I'm Dec.
Hello, Dec. I'm Owen.
Are you?
Yes.
Are you
yes,
sure?
I am. Most definitely.
Yeah. Right. What should we get on to first? I want to talk about... you know what's first on the top of my list.
I do. I can see
I want
it.
to know what is going on in the world of Shia Labeouf.
So, yeah, we started this segment last week, the Labeouf segment. So, yeah, not much has changed. He's still in talks for that role. Actually, he has been cast as this coach role for the Peanut Butter Falcon.
Okay, yeah.
The weird wrestling film we spoke about last week. But he's also been doing another one of his strange art projects, and this one is called #Alone Together.
Okay.
And basically him and his two contemporaries, Naz Jaronko and Luke Turner, they're all separated from everyone. They're all living in a remote log cabin in Lapland, one of them in each cabin, and the only contact they have with the outside world is through like a text chat.
Okay.
And that chat goes through to... It's also live streamed online. But the text chat goes through to a similar cabin in a art gallery in Helsinki. I think it's Helsinki. Yeah, the largest modern art gallery in Finland.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm not sure what that's meant to achieve.
I guess it's just another one of these art projects. I think that's the point of art sometimes. It's just to sort of see what people's reaction are.
Yeah.
Because I mean, people have been following them all over the world, so I can't see why this is any different.
Yeah, I mean, I've been following them for a while. I really enjoyed... I think his best one's been All My Movies, because that was something that people...
Everyone could get into.
Yeah, definitely. The live streaming bit about it is fantastic, but with this one it doesn't quite work. It's just a single shot of the outside of this cabin in the museum.
I think it's the same as I believe it was the one they did in Liverpool when you could go in. I think it's more of the sort of location,
yeah, definitely,
instead of the actually joining and watching along. You know.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that actually finishes tomorrow. He's been in there for 30 days now. Started on the 12th of April.
You can't timestamp this because it won't go out on the exact date. We can't.
Well,
people
no,
get
okay.
in trouble.
So it finishes on the 12th of May, whenever that is. Could be the future, it could be the past.
Well, that would be more impressive.
Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, the other part of this new segment that I'm so smartly thought of is that we've got to hear about your favourite actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we get to hear about mine.
Oh, okay.
We mentioned him last week. I don't know if I said he was my favourite. I wish I had.
I think you did. I'm pretty sure you did.
I normally do. But it's the marvellous man that is Ron Perlman.
Yeah. Big
Perlman
man Ron.
2020. So, yeah, my big news update, I imagine everyone will know this by now because the reboot news has become quite big.
Yeah.
I've seen on many sites now, is about Hellboy.
Mm-hmm.
So I originally started this because at the time of writing my notes, Hellboy 3 was still at that point where Guillermo del Toro had said that it was 99.9% not happening. And that was the end of it. But there was still that like 0.1 chance that because they were so passionate about it, and I believe they nailed it. Not so much like the film in general, but just the directing and the acting. I think it was a really good mix there. You can tell that they've got a lot of chemistry.
Yeah, definitely.
But since I wrote that I've added is the artist for the comic has announced that they're making a reboot for the series.
Nice.
And it's going to be directed by the Descent's Neil Marshall, who
Great
I'm a
director.
big fan of.
Yeah, great director.
Great work on Game of Thrones and etc. But and it's also going to star David Harbour from Stranger Things, which is a bigger point than you because I actually haven't seen Stranger Things yet.
I think that's a great casting. His work in Stranger Things he's probably one of the best cast members.
He looks like, I don't know what it is. It's not that rustic look that Ron Perlman has, but you can. Even though when he's got the Hellboy makeup on, you still know it's Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
And David Harbour still has one of those sort of faces where I can see that working.
Yeah,
so that,
definitely.
Like, I think it'll be great. Like, I wasn't like a fan of the comic. Like, I only knew who Hellboy was because of the film and because of Ron Perlman and Del Toro. So it was quite. It's still like, meh. I would have preferred Hellboy 3 with. I would have preferred one more
with Ron Perlman.
Yeah, just because I like Ron Perlman. I think that would have been nice.
Good send off.
Another thing I wanted to touch on is it's not film related, but I wanted to say how much I loved Hand of God. I don't think it's the best series out there, but it definitely gets its cast makes it into something that I think Amazon were expecting more from it, and that's maybe why they've cancelled it after season 2. But
so they have cancelled it.
It was before season 2 even came out. They cancelled it, and I only found out after I'd finished season 2.
That's a shame. Yeah, to me that was sort of the first big Amazon Prime show. There was that, and there was Mr. Robot.
There's the other one that won all the awards.
Man in the High Castle?
No, that is. It's the one about the transvestite or the transsexual. Can't remember the actor. No. That is their biggest series. I'm pretty sure because that's won the most awards. But yeah, the fun of it. I'm going on about Ron Perlman for ages.
That's fine. He's got news. Shia doesn't.
He's got a new film coming out as well.
Okay.
It's called Asher. And it's a film about a Mossad member, the terrorist group, Turn Gun for Hire in New York, who is, I'm literally reading the blurb, who is living the good life, but at the end of his career, when one of his final gigs goes upside down on a job involving a woman, he must make a life-altering decision.
Oh no. Oh, Ron.
Yeah. So I don't know what role he's playing in that, but I just sort of picked that up because it's Ron Perlman. I imagine that's going to be one of those straight to Netflix or
DVD.
One of that. But
what's a DVD?
I have no idea. I haven't seen any films this week. I've been really disappointed. I've been busy. I haven't. I'm disappointed in myself. I feel like I've let down my family.
Excuses, deck.
But lucky enough, you actually have seen a film on this film podcast. Yeah. So we can talk about a new film.
Yeah, I did. I went to see the new Julian Barrett vehicle, Mindhorn, written in part by Julian, but also by his Mighty Boosh co-star Simon Farnaby. So it stars Julian Barrett as Richard Thorncroft, who's a sort of failed actor. He was big in the 80s with his TV detective show Mindhorn. So he was a detective on the Isle of Man. But the interesting thing about the character is he's bionically altered. So he's got a bionically altered eye, which lets him see the truth.
Oh, okay.
So he's this, So he was very big in the 80s. He's, down on his luck now. He does work for sort of orthopedic sock adverts and stuff like that. He's completely delusional.
He's still an actor.
Okay. I'm not so sure about that. But so he gets called back to the Isle of Man because there's been a murder. A young girl's been murdered, and the person who may or may not have murdered this girl wants to speak to Detective Mindhorn. Doesn't want to speak to Richard Thorncroft. He only wants to speak to Mindhorn. He believes Mindhorn's a real person. So the film, incredibly funny. I was there. I went and saw it in a cinema all on my own. It was like 11:30 at night, so I was just free to cackle. Like it's an incredibly funny film, and mostly that's down to Julian himself. Great improvisational actor. But I don't think it's quite on the same level as The Mighty Boosh or Flowers.
Is that because it's a film? Is that it?
Potentially. I think a lot of people have said it's a 30-minute TV sketch stretched out to a feature film length. I'm not so sure. I think it's just the right length because it's under 90 minutes, which is really admirable. It's like 85 minutes, which I think is a perfect runtime for a film. But I feel like if it was longer than that, it really would be pushing it. It's a little ropey around the edges. Some of the dialogue and some of the scenes are not very believable, but I think that adds to its charm.
It's a silly spoof in a way, I guess. I think that with those sort of films, they have to learn to mock themselves to be successful. Yeah,
definitely.
The one question I have is the magical eye or the robotic eye. Is that the actual actor, or is that Mindhorn that has that?
No, Mindhorn has that.
I feel like that would be a different film if the actor actually had that.
Mindhorn has this eye patch with like a sort of little ruby disc in it, which is magical. Bionic eye can see through.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it's great.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk about the new films that are getting released soon. So straight away, I want to. They released the new trailer a couple of weeks ago for the new Pirates of the Caribbean film.
Yes.
I wanted to get your opinion on the series as a whole, like what's your favorite and anything like that, and what you believe about this film and what it's going to bring.
So Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl is a fantastic film. I really, really like that film. That kind of made pirates cool again. There wasn't really a lot in the sort of pirate world of things, but when you say pirates now, you immediately think of Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. I think, after Black Pearl, it just got a bit silly.
Okay.
I'm not really a fan of the others. Dead Man's Chest, is that the second one? That's all right. After that, I've seen the third one. Don't really remember a lot of it. The Pirate Council and various pirates from around the world. I think their scope was a little too big there. And then I haven't seen the fourth or fifth or whatever one.
Yeah, this is the fifth one coming out now.
Yeah, so this is, depending on who you talk to, it's called Dead Men Tell No Tales or Salazar's Revenge.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not very sure about that. I prefer Dead Men Tell No Tales because it's kind of trying to bring back those original pirate tropes. There's a lot of, yo ho ho. There's like a ship in a bottle in a trailer. There's all these traditional things you'd associate with pirates. The previous ones are spinning off into these weird sort of almost not quite sci-fi, but it spins off into various different genres, and I think they're trying to bring it back. You've got Javier Bardem there.
Yeah, that was what I wanted to talk about, because I feel like that could really help this film, because he's a villain again. He's great at being a villain.
Yeah.
No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, I've got Skyfall written down.
Oh, okay.
I think he's probably one of the best things about Skyfall.
100%.
So yeah, I look forward to him being in a villain's role. And then you've got Orlando Bloom back as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the deal with him was. I think
he had to join because I don't want to spoil any of the earlier ones, but he had to join the dead crew. Yeah. And he became the captain, so it means he couldn't come to land. So I think the big thing with this is they've casted his son. So obviously it's been 20 years or so since he's come to land, so obviously his son's grown up now. This is a very ropey explanation of the last Pirates.
Isn't there a sort of a young Jack Sparrow segment as well?
I have no idea on this, but it's interesting because they obviously, when Orlando and Keira Knightley didn't come back for the fourth one, but Johnny Depp stayed loyal to it, and then they brought in Penelope Cruz for the main female role in the fourth one, and then I thought that was the end of the Pirates of the Caribbean film, because it was that film when Disney had owned the rights to it, was it? Or was it maybe the third one? And I thought they were just going to, not milk it, but get what they can out of it, and that fourth film didn't do as well. But they seem to want to come back to the original trilogy, because I think that's why they did so well, is people liked the mix of characters, because you had Barbossa, you had Davy Jones.
Yes.
You had Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley's not back, is she?
I don't think so. No. I haven't seen her in the trailers or anything.
So if I was Disney, I would have got her back for maybe a little role, because his son's going to be it and Orlando Bloom's going to be in it. So because I feel like that was the one thing that the third one succeeded in, was actually their silly romance story.
Yeah, that actually worked quite well.
It felt real.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was your. So the first one was your favourite.
Definitely. I'm not huge fans of the others.
Do you want to see the new one?
No.
Do you want to see it?
I think I will. I think I will go and see it. Hopefully, it will sort of restore some of the original glory.
Yeah. I don't know, because it's weird for me, because I liked the first one, but it's not my favourite. Because I really liked 2 and 3. I got into them more because they sort of expanded this universe. But it was interesting what you said about the start, about it was the sort of start. There's always been pirate films before, but I think it was it sort of reminded people of pirates and how cool they can be, because we've had Black Sails now.
Yeah.
That's a very popular series. Even modern. I remember when, I think it was years ago, but in the news, all the things happened with Somali pirates. Yeah. And then obviously we got Captain Phillips from that stemmed from that. So it's obviously reinvigorated whatever wasn't there before in the film. Are you suggesting
that Somali pirates sort of came into being because of Pirates of the Caribbean?
No. I like to think so.
That would be fantastic. I like
to think that they only called them... because obviously pirates have existed for a long time with pirate radio and stuff like that, but it's just I think it's just going back to that original stereotype with parrot on the shoulder.
I look forward to it.
Yeah. So next film I got is Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
We have to, like last week, we spoke a lot about comic
We did.
movies, much to my amazement, but not much to yours. But it is a film coming out very soon. I'm intrigued because I haven't really followed a lot about it as much as I did for Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. Wonder Woman's an awesome character. It's perfect for 2017.
Definitely.
I think that's why it helps it. I find it interesting that because they're going with her origin story, they're choosing World War II as the setting.
Was that similar to the Captain America origins thing?
And that's what I feel like this is going to be. Yeah. It's going to be their Captain America. And if they can pull it off, then I think it'll be very interesting. But one of the first, because when this film got announced, I was very excited. And then Chris Pine got cast. And I've come to appreciate Chris Pine a lot more over the past couple of years because everything I seem to want to see, he gets cast in.
For those that don't know, Dec doesn't really like Chris Pine.
I don't hate him. Like when I watched Smoking Aces and I saw that was one of his first films and I saw him, I'm like, he's really bloody good in this. And
whoa,
yeah, and
you've recorded that now.
Yeah, I know.
You can't take that back.
But then there's other because I've never been a huge Star Trek fan, and the films were sort of we're just too young for that. I think if we were a bit older, then it's fully our thing. Like people 10 years older, that was everything, and I fully understand that. And it's such a cool universe, and I've read into so much about it. But I've never the films really introduced me to a lot of the original characters.
Yeah,
and like I always knew who Spock was, but I didn't know it in detail and stuff like that. So when I watched Star Trek, he was the only thing I didn't really like about it, and that was my first real introduction to Chris Pine, of me knowing who he was.
Yeah.
And I liked so many people in that film because I was familiar with some of them, and because he had such this lead role, I didn't like Captain Kirk is a bit of an idiot. Like you're not meant to like him as much as you can. Like, and Chris Pine is so different to William Shatner.
Yeah, he's very different.
So there were just loads of things that just put me off. I've come to appreciate him in certain films that I've seen him in recently. Yeah. When he got cast in Wonder Woman, I wasn't happy because I've just switched off immediately. I know it's a bit unfair. I'm intrigued because the character that he plays, he's playing the grandfather, the main love interest. I can't remember the character's name now, but the main love interest of Wonder Woman that isn't a superhero.
Okay.
And he's a soldier. And then I think Chris Pine's going to be in the modern films as well when it comes back, because I think he's playing the grandson as well.
Oh, that's odd.
And that, I remember, I don't know how true that is, but I just find that so because like people look like themselves, like, oh, you look like your granddad, but you're not identical. So I don't know what they're doing there, because he looks like Chris Pine, and they're just going to maybe if they just chuck a leather jacket on him and make him look a bit more modern, he can stand next to Ben Affleck and everyone will just forget about it. But I don't know how true that is now. That I might just be I might have just made that up, but I'm pretty sure I remember reading that, and that made me go, I'm not watching that. But yeah, I'll definitely watch it. I think that they've done a really good job with some of the trailers that they've released for it. I love the Wonder Woman, like that.
I'm not sure what you mean.
the theme tune thing when her logo comes up.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. That just gets me really excited. I don't know why. It's a really short little snippet, but yeah. Let's not talk about comic book movies.
No. Just one thing about that. Some more supporting cast. Robin Wright from House of Cards.
In Wonder Woman? Wow.
And also David Thewlis, who plays Professor Lupin in the Harry Potter films.
Who is Robin Wright's character? She's playing a woman from World War II.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting.
I didn't read any further than that. I was just like, yeah, that's fine. Cool.
Because Robin Wright, for me, because of House of Cards and everything, she is like the one actress that I go, she's a strong, independent woman. And to see her maybe pegged back a bit with how it was in World War II, hopefully, it's Wonder Woman, so there's not going to be many of those. There's going to be jokes about those values, because I think it's in the trailer, because Chris Pine's secretary, she's like there's a lot of stuff like that, because she's so used to being his secretary and stuff like that, very misogynist and stuff like that. But so it'll be very interesting to see Robin Wright's character in that setting. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Next one I got. You probably saw this when you read it, but I just typed "Let Owen tear this to pieces," and it's the Mummy remake, starring Tom Cruise.
So, for me, I think this is completely unneeded. I don't know of anyone that's craving some more of the Mummy verse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mummies aren't cool. Any of that sort of thing. But one thing I read about the other day. So accidentally, what happened is Universal released the trailer onto YouTube, but it was missing all the music and like 90% of the sound effects. You can watch it on YouTube if you type in what's it called, the Mummy trailer without music or sound effects. It's just this really bizarre sort of vacuous trailer it shows how little of the film is real. Like it's completely synthetic. There's a plane crashing, and then there's just sort of this incredibly calm pilot sort of going, "Oh no, look out!" And then there's this really weird guttural scream just comes out of nowhere. It's just silence, and then the birds come in through the window, and then there's just sort of this noise, and that's it. But yeah.
I haven't actually seen that. I'd quite like to see that.
Definitely check it out. It's worth a watch.
It's a weird one for me because the original Mummy films I actually really enjoyed because I remember we had them on VCR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me
and
too.
They were my mum really loved them.
Okay.
I think she had a bit of a crush on Brendan Fraser.
Who doesn't?
Brendan Fraser. Yeah, Brendan Fraser. And I remember them because they were 12s, and I remember watching them when I was like 9 or 10 because they came out when we were 4, 5,
something like that.
And
yeah.
I didn't see it until I was like 8, 9, but still that was 3 years before I was legally allowed to watch that film. So like I think if I rewatched them, it might seem quite corny, and I'd probably understand a lot more.
Definitely.
But I just remember a lot of the action back then. It was really cool. It sort of reminded me of the Lara Croft Tomb Raider films in that sort of. That had the sort of same action sequences that I remember as a kid.
Yeah, this one seems a lot more scary to
me.
It
doesn't seem like it could be. Some of it don't seem like it's 12. I don't know what. It's just Tom Cruise. It just changes the film completely. It just makes
more of an action film.
Yeah, 100%.
That's fully what it is.
Like there's nothing. Like even though there's this whole ancient Egypt setting and it's so cool from the trailer, it's just action.
Yeah,
it's Mission Impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
Stealing a coffin.
There is a plane crash. There's no pyramid exploration or booby traps or anything like that, from what I could tell.
I don't hate Tom Cruise. I love some of his, a lot of his work, but it's just it because he's the main star and because I imagine he's chucked a lot of money into it.
Yeah, true.
And he's obviously very passionate about it. So, but it's just him being in it has completely changed what it is,
what it should
and
be,
what how different it is from the originals. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Do you know the director Alex Kurzman? Do you know what other films he has done? I'm not familiar.
I recognise the name.
Yeah, it's one of those.
I think I'm thinking of Justin Kurzel, who did Macbeth. That would be a very different film if he directed The Mummy.
One of the final new releases that is coming out. So I know we got the trailer. I don't know how soon it's coming out now.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty soon. It comes at night.
I don't think it comes out this month.
It does it not?
It might do,
but that trailer. It is a very good trailer.
Yeah, it is.
Like
there's a couple trailers. So the first one came out a few months ago, and one of the things that got me about it is the sound in that trailer is incredible, like prickly, intense.
Incredible.
There's this real sort of horrible violin noise that punctuates it throughout. I'm not going to do an impression of it, but for me, it like rivals the sort of terror that the violins in Psycho produce. Like,
wow,
it's really good sound work. Yeah. Of course, you've got Joel Edgerton in there, who's been fantastic recently in all of Jeff Nichols' films. Loving. You've got Midnight Special there. He's a great actor and
very unique actor in how he does certain things and how he does it. Like he's one of those names that I don't think a lot of people go, oh, it's Joel Edgerton.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there he is again in that wacky or like another film. It's like I've come to appreciate him a lot more because I'll just go, Joel Edgerton, he's really good in that. I really like Joel Edgerton in that.
I'll see a film because of him.
Yeah. What was the one with Johnny Depp about?
Oh, Black Mass.
Yeah, I rewatched that.
Did you?
At Christmas?
Because that came out quite recently, didn't it?
Yes.
Semi-recently.
That was like I think it was a year and a half ago or something like. No, it must be just under 2 years. I think that came out.
Really?
Yeah, it's longer than you
Wow.
think.
That's weird.
And it was quite nice to rewatch that because I'd have like just the perfect amount of time to watch it again without remembering a lot of things. Or,
yeah, definitely.
And I really appreciated Joel Edgerton. I was much more looking at his character than I was Johnny Depp because I feel like that's what I did the first time I watched it. I was so intense on Johnny Depp, but like I really appreciated him. And this was why I was looking at Joel Edgerton. This is why I saw this trailer. Because it was the start of this week I was thinking about, and I was like, oh, I wonder what films he's doing.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and I was like, wow. Like, that. I just want to read out the description for the audience. Secure within... I can't do it now. Secure within a desolate home as an unnatural threat terrorizes the world. A man has established a tenuous domestic order with his wife and son, but this will soon be put to test when a desperate young family arrives seeking refuge. I mean, that is correct. That's some good English.
Nice writing there, boy.
Yeah. No, it's really good, and I'm all over like these post-apocalyptic, these sort of like desolate settings, because I think it's so interesting because there's been so many of them, but they're all so different, and it's interesting how every different person or a writer that comes up with this world, it's always different, and this looks like it's taking it to that next level because they're being very secretive about it.
Yeah, not much is revealed in that trailer.
That's what I prefer because you're like, I have to find out.
Definitely.
Why did the world end?
There are so many different questions.
Ending, you know? And I really like it. Could just be that it's completely shut off in the end and there's nothing wrong with the world, you know? Like, it could be anything like that.
Yeah, to be honest with you, before you sort of read out that little synopsis from the trailer, that could be anywhere. I just assumed it was a little sort of log cabin in the woods
in America somewhere.
Yeah. The one thing I'm a little bit worried about is I hope it just doesn't turn into a regular home invasion film.
Yeah.
That's what I was a little worried about. But
no, I don't. I think there's a lot darker side to that film
for sure.
than there is. I think there's. Hopefully it won't be ruined by some sort of CGI creature that isn't as terrifying. Like, you can use that, but it's just using them smartly, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they'll use of that or how much they'll just use of genuine human fear of each other.
Yeah. And
worrying about each other. Have you seen the new Dunkirk trailer?
Yes. I saw it.
What are your opinions
a few
on
days ago. So I think with Christopher Nolan, you know, he's known for spectacle. You've got Inception, you've got, Interstellar, you've got all the Dark Knight films. So I'm not particularly worried about the war side of things. I think he's got that covered. But the things that interested me about it were the little details. I think that whole, I feel like they're going to sort of, flick between different groups of people throughout the film. And one of the ones that interests me most is the Mark Rylance and Cillian Murphy sort of boat scene. That looks fantastic. If that was cut out of the film and put into a little 90-minute film, that's brilliant. That's a genius idea.
I think the issue is if you did something like that, then you lose that sort of
it's not about
Nolan
the
spectacle,
war.
and
definitely.
You need those big beach shots. You need something going on, and I think that's why maybe he's trying to have the combination there, so you can still have that like real gritty life, like at that point.
It is believable because you've got these real people. It was the details that really interested me. I've got written down here, I've got jam sandwich versus torpedo, because there's this one scene where sort of all the Navy squaddies are down in the sort of bows of the ship.
Yeah.
And there's sort of young women handing out like jam sandwiches, and it's like, that's quite friendly. And then a torpedo hits, and the whole thing shakes. And just that shot for me that was really, really powerful. It changes it from this domestic setting where there's all these people living very closely together to a place where they just need to get out immediately as fast as possible. And then from the previous trailer as well, you've got those laid out on the beaches, the sort of 10 bodies just lying on the floor with blankets over them and the sand blowing over. Like, that's quite a beautiful image. It's incredibly sad, but incredibly beautiful.
The interesting thing for me is I did not like the first trailer. We spoke about this, and we didn't really like the first trailer. But the new one that came out, I don't know why there's a lot of extra stuff added there. There's a lot more conversation. I think that's probably because it sets what is going on. Like, I think a lot of people, if they want to be familiar, they can look it up.
Yeah.
But like it's knowing the emotional side of each character, and I think we got to see that a bit more.
A little bit,
especially in Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that was what drew me more.
Yeah.
To it in that, like you said, on that scene.
Yeah, but we've also got the the David Beckham to Christopher Nolan's Guy Ritchie. We've got Harry Styles in there. You seen this?
Yeah.
Harry Styles is in it briefly.
Do you know how that came about, or was it?
Honestly,
did
no
Harry
idea.
Is that just for a celebrity appearance, or did he genuinely audition?
I feel like it's just for the celebrity appearance.
I mean, it should be interesting. I really hope he's really good, because I feel like that's one that people will like.
Definitely.
I really like his new solo songs, so I'm going to say that out loud on camera, on microphone.
They're all coming out today.
No, I big fan of his stuff. Yeah. So let's move on to the movie news that I've written down this week, and I had a new it was a bit jumbled up last week, but I enjoyed it. We had the Superman and KKK story.
Yeah.
It's just quite interesting when you just type in movie news on Google and just see what comes up.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest part I enjoy about it. So the first one, Will Ferrell's new film.
Oh, good.
He's teamed up with Jason Momoa.
Yes.
The man famous for being in Game of Thrones.
What's that?
I have no idea.
Some small
I only watch
TV.
films.
Okay. Yeah. No. Me too. Yeah.
I'm quite excited for this. Jason Momoa is definitely becoming a lot more relevant ever since he was cast as Aquaman. I'm seeing his name a lot more. But yeah, this film will see Ferrell as a washed-up television star reuniting as the man who once played his son and has since gone on to be a huge film star.
Right.
Now, that's not the official synopsis, but that's the early days synopsis.
Okay.
And what I think about that is I want to see on this party scene when they've obviously got a young Jason Momoa or something, how they're going to convince the audience that Jason Momoa is Will Ferrell's son in this TV series.
I really hope they dress up Will Ferrell to look like Jason Momoa.
See, I think it'll be funny the other way round.
Yeah, potentially.
Jason Momoa with this huge afro.
Yeah.
In a way, but he's still gonna have to be tanned as any. They're so different.
That's a very odd
maybe Jason
couple.
Momoa's not his son in it. Maybe that's the curveball.
Yeah.
But they should be interesting. I love Will Ferrell, man. He's a genius. Like, no matter whatever he does, it seems to be hilarious. I don't think I've watched a comedy that starred him that I haven't laughed at hard.
I'm trying to think. He's done some weaker ones recently. Daddy's Home.
I still liked it. That's the thing.
I can't say I liked it.
I like the combination. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Mark Wahlberg as well. I feel like he's got much better at this sort of comedy role, because he's had a real mix in his career of comedy, action, and drama. And I haven't seen as much drama films with him in recently, like the Boston bombings one. I haven't seen that yet.
Deepwater Horizon as well.
and those two. So it would be quite nice to see him in that. Just to see how he's getting on, but I think it's a big thing for Jason Momoa. It will definitely boost his name up again as what Aquaman's going to already do. But no, I'm just excited for it. They're just really easy films. They're not going to win any big awards, but they're just entertaining and they make money. And I think that's why they keep getting made.
It would be good to see Jason Momoa in a comedy role.
Yeah, because he's definitely done comedy stuff before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know there's a couple of films he's been in. I was talking to someone about a comedy film he's in the other day, and I can't remember. Next big bit of news. It's Joe Cornish's new film has been announced. This is a big deal because we're both very big fans of Attack the Block.
Yes, definitely.
I remember watching Attack the Block purely because it had Nick Frost in.
It was one of the main reasons. It was obviously
on the back of Hot Fuzz was so relevant.
Paul.
And so I was very excited about Attack the Block, and I thought he was the main character in that. It's also a big deal to call back on John Boyega, because obviously Attack the Block was.
That's the one that kicked everything off.
That's one of the reasons you could say that he is now fit in Star Wars. Is because of Joe
he's
Cornish
in
and
that.
Attack
He's in
the
the
Block.
new Pacific Rim film. So I think they're definitely a good partnership. Joe Cornish has been doing a lot of writing stuff. I know he's I think he helped out with that. Was it Tintin: The Legend of the Unicorn?
Is that
Peter Jackson,
the
animated
one? Steven Spielberg executively produced.
Yep. So he was part of that, and I know he was also. No, it's gone. he also wrote. Was he something to do with Ant-Man as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, he was. But he dropped out.
Yeah, with Edgar Wright.
Yeah. I can't remember who dropped out first. I don't know if that was related. But he was co-writing it, I believe, and some of his bits did stay in because I believe he still got credit.
Yeah, and Edgar didn't.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's going to be titled. The working title is "A King Who Would Be King."
Not very catchy.
And it's an original idea from Cornish, and it's about a band of young kids embarking on an epic quest to thwart a medieval menace.
It sounds good. It's he's doing that E.T. Goonies Stand By Me kind of thing again. He's that true. Kind of kind of filmmaker. I think Attack the Block is sort of this generation's maybe not as big as E.T., but it's that sort of thing. It's incredibly modern. It's kids are a lot cheekier nowadays.
I mean, even if you did Attack the Block now, I think it would be very different from back then. Like definitely. Even in that short period of time, how much even like an estate like that has changed, and the film would be completely different. So hopefully it's. I wrote down all being well. Cornish is meant to be shooting that later this summer, so that should be.
Good luck
be very
to you,
interesting.
Joe.
It's the same pictures that it's Big Talk Pictures that did Attack the Block as well. So hopefully there'll be that same sort of setting because it's the same people doing it.
Yeah.
The final bit of news I had was a big bit. We spoke about Guy Ritchie last week with with
King Arthur.
King Arthur. Yeah. And he is directing the live adaptation of Aladdin.
Yeah. Again, like I said last week, I'm still not sure these weird live action
we did
remakes
talk about it last time, didn't we?
Are very needed. But putting Guy Ritchie and Disney together, that could be very cool. If he brings his style over, if he brings any of that, swearing, guns, drugs into Aladdin, no, I can't see that happening. But just some kind of grit to it would be really cool.
No, it's weird. I don't know how the Aladdin live adaptation, because there's a lot of not magic, but there's a lot going on in the Aladdin films from what I remember of the animation. Like it'll be interesting to see how it goes because of Robin Williams playing the genie. Nice to see if there's any nice throwbacks there. But the biggest thing I picked up on this was a quote that Guy Ritchie said, because when Disney announced this, there was quite a bit of criticism.
Oh wow!
Because obviously people like Guy Ritchie, but like you look at his credits, Rock and Roller, Snatch, stuff like that are very, very anti-Disney. Like what would you say? So it's really cool. But he said, I have 5 kids. I know more about kids' movies than I do about any other movies. And in turn, I know more about Disney movies than any other brand of movies. So it's a wheelhouse in which I'm well familiar, and I'm impressed with the quality of children's product at the moment.
Fair play to
He
the
sounds
guy.
confident. So, I mean, he's going to have so much backing with Disney. I feel like any Disney film at the moment can't be horrible. Because however they make everything look, it's still going to be a visual spectacle, I believe. And
people will still see it. It's a Disney film. It's Aladdin. People like Aladdin. People like Disney. They're going to go see it.
Yeah, 100%. I like how smooth you said that.
Thank you.
As if we were talking about Disney a little bit like this.
I like talking close to the mic. It's nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It creeps me out. I think about Disney too much when I just... Welcome to the smooth jazz on Disney Radio. It's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice.
I work on that a lot because one day I hope to present jazz radio.
Disney
by
jazz
Disney.
radio. Yeah.
It's going to take off, man, I'm telling you.
There's a hole in the market for it.
I did show you my notes before we started recording, and as you've noticed, when I'd run out of what I wanted to say or anything I just put Owen section. Anything Owen has to say. So I sort of let you have a bit of free roam on this because you are the guru and I am learning. I'm the student.
You've made a grave mistake there, Dave.
Oh yeah.
So basically, I'm going to talk a little bit about a film I saw something like 3 days ago. So it's a fantastic new documentary that's just been put onto Netflix, sort of about the JonBenet Ramsey murder case. Now, if you don't know what that is, in 1996, a 6-year-old beauty pageant queen was murdered on Christmas Day night. There was a ransom note, which the amount of money matched her father's Christmas bonus. Was it the parents? Was it her 9-year-old brother? Was it this sort of external influence? Basically, the police handled the case really poorly, handled the evidence poorly. Apparently, the crime scene was open for a day. People could just walk in and out, do whatever they wanted. So no one was properly convicted, and it's still an open case.
Wow.
So along comes this Australian director, Kitty Green, who a few years ago made the documentary Ukraine is Not a Brothel, which I believe won some awards at Sundance. So it's a Netflix original. Netflix have been pumping a lot of money into sort of original documentaries and indie films at the moment. So basically the film is a mixture of reconstructed scenes from this supposed murder, and interviews with amateur actors from the surrounding area who are auditioning for the roles of the mother, the father, JonBenet Ramsey herself, the younger brother, and also discussing their own opinions of the case, because a lot of these people were around during the time of the murder. They knew a lot of the people. And it's safe to say I loved it. It's easily one of my favourite films of this year I've seen so far.
Wow.
It's a very original idea, the way that they go about doing this. It doesn't have a conclusion, really. You don't get answers from it, but that's not what the film's about. You're learning about the people and how they were affected by it, and Kitty Green sort of drags out these deeply emotional scenes out of these people, and find out some things that...
Sorry, that was really rude of me.
That's all right.
I was really trying to resist that. No, straight away you say that, and straight away what I think about is, do you feel like, I don't know how long it had been in production or so that, but do you feel like that's off the back of the success of Making a Murderer? Because that,
potentially,
there's a lot of people just flung themselves. I love that, and everyone was very vocal about it. Everyone complained because everyone became a lawyer. Everyone knew what they were talking about in the world of law, whether they didn't or not. And that sounds very sort of similar in a very different take. Obviously, it's very every murder case is different, but
yeah, It must have something to do with it. I feel like Netflix are kind of riding that wave at the moment. There's a lot.
Why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they?
Exactly. There's a lot of documentaries going on there at the moment. But yeah, the sort of so we learn all these deeply emotional things from these people, and often the things are things that they're telling on camera, but they haven't told their families and stuff like that. So the only reason we're finding these things out is because they're in the headspace of these people. They're playing these characters.
Sorry.
Again, you need a little button to cut it off.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and their stories are being told through the JonBenet Ramsey case, and I really like that idea of learning about other people through
an actor. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's very interesting. It's a very different take, and I think that's what, especially how I see it, documentary makers, they have to have this unique selling point that's different from another, like Making a Murderer, they have to have that, and that must be, because it's the same as when you start up a business. It's like trying to be unique from your competitors, and I can see how it can be hard for documentary makers to try and stand out, and that sounds really interesting.
Definitely. No, it's an incredibly singular.
Netflix.
Yeah, that's on Netflix. It came out, I think it was a week ago. That is Casting JonBenet, directed by Kitty Ramsey. 79 minutes as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so really, really short little film.
Okay.
I suggest everyone goes out and sees it.
So I gave you that free section, and you've wasted all the time we have on the show. No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
That was a joke.
I've got a little bit more to say. Actually. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So. I actually do.
Oh, I genuinely thought that was...
No. I mean, I'll show you.
Wow.
See what you... Yeah?
Oh, okay.
Do you want to talk about that?
I'll accept that.
Okay, cool. I knew this one was going to be longer. I knew it. We'll cap it at an hour.
Yeah.
So I'll quickly run through this. So Blade Runner 2049.
Don't feel rushed, Owen.
No. So Blade Runner 2049. New trailer came out a couple of days ago. What did you think?
Wow, no, I absolutely loved it. I have to say straight away, I haven't seen the original. I'm definitely going to see it before I see 2049 when it comes out in the start of October. I don't know why I haven't seen it, and it really annoys me because I love that sort of dystopian setting, and it straight away from because after watching the Blade Runner 2049 trailer, I watched the original trailer, and I just fell in love with the setting, and it's so cool. The trailer. Both trailers are so amazing. Even the trailer that was made at that time, there weren't many films that had trailers, you know, like, and it still caught me and made me want to watch it, even though it's an older film, and a lot of people prefer that, but like I'm not someone that's seen a huge amount of older films, so it's still quite nice when I can get that feeling from a film that's in the 70s, you know. Like,
I think the thing about the first Blade Runner is it is very of its time, but I think it definitely stands up now. 100%.
They still nailed that sci-fi setting, but there were a lot of films that did that back then. Exactly. But no, I'm really excited. It's a very good trailer for the new one. I think it's going to really invigorate the series again. There's going to be a lot of people watching the original. I think
hope they don't do any further than this. I hope they just leave it after this second one.
It'll be interesting. I think it will entirely depend on how successful it is. If they find that it's going to be a lot more marketable, because Ryan Gosling's amazing at the moment. On fire. Him as this sort of like...
he is the new Blade Runner.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so I feel like he's gonna be able to stand out, and that seems very marketable. You know, like how Chris Pratt is a Star-Lord.
Yes.
People love that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, even though it's not Disney, I feel like it can still have that same sort of setting, because I think there'll always be a love for sci-fi.
100%. 100%.
So that, I'm really excited for it. Actually, I wish October was a bit closer than it was, because I do want to see that film.
You got a great cast in there as well. You've got Jared Leto, you've got Robin Wright again, you've got Dave Bautista in there.
The Guardians of the Galaxy. There we go again. What a link! Are they the same film? Is it the same universe?
I think they might be.
Disney owns Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Well, we've done it. We've cracked it.
There we go. Disney owns the world. It's official.
God.
Who's do you know who's making Blade Runner? Like what movie studios it is?
It is. No, I don't know. If I'm honest, I know Scott Free are involved. Obviously, it's Ridley Scott. You've got I think Sony are involved as well.
Yeah.
Gonna look something up there.
No, I'm not. I'm just casually carry on talking while
Here's the other casting that I was trying to tell you the other day. I'd forgotten this. So link back to the start of the show. Think pirates. Think Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
Barkhad Abdi from Captain Phillips, the main Somali pirate in Captain Phillips. Yeah. He's in Blade Runner.
Wow.
As a completely CGI character, apparently.
Wow. So maybe. Well, here we go again. Lupita Nyong'o in Star Wars, something very similar to that. Maybe. I feel like we've cracked it. We've cracked the case.
Yeah, but you've got Denis Villeneuve directing it, always a great sign. He's with Roger Deakins shooting it again. They both did Sicario and Prisoners together. And, more recently, Villeneuve did Arrival, which made me go, right, we're in safe hands here.
Yeah.
It's a, great big sci-fi
very
film.
Good film. We both really liked that. It really stood out as like one of the... It's Warner Brothers has been distributed by.
Yeah.
And it's Columbia Pictures as well.
That's the one. There you go. The other interesting thing, another link to Arrival, Johan Johansson's scoring Blade Runner. So he's doing Vangelis Proud, who scored the first one. Yeah.
No, really interesting. I saw a really weird fact about Blade Runner the other day, and it's about because it's based on an original book by Philip K. Dick. That's not funny. And it's based on the characters from Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. And what are they called?
Replicants.
See, that is never used in the book.
Really?
And they it was one of the women, I think it might have been someone related to Ridley Scott, that came up with that and started using that instead of androids, because they didn't like androids because they didn't think people would understand an android, like using the word android in the 70s, they thought it would scare people and it wouldn't work, which is very interesting because so they came up with replicants.
That's a great name.
It's very different as well, considering because they're pulling it from that book, they could have just called it androids and got away with it. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's go on to the wacky fun section we finished the show with, where I've decided to make a bit of a trend here, because last week we spoke. What did we speak about? Remind everyone.
Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars. It's Star Wars, and it was a really nice chat to talk about the series. So I want to do it again because we spoke about Alien Covenant last week.
Yeah, briefly,
I thought we'd bring it back, and we talk about the series as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you straight away, what's your favourite of the series?
It's got to be Alien 1. Just
Really?
Alien. Yeah, definitely. It's, it sets the precedent for both horror and sci-fi films. It's a haunted house in space. It's that incredibly creaky, spooky, big old ship with a monster running around it. What's not to love?
Exactly.
It's like it's great that we just spoke about Blade Runner as well, because I think Blade Runner is very of its time, but Alien, I think, is, you could show that at any time and people would get it. It's still relevant now, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly.
It's some of the bits are a little creaky now, but I love that film.
I mean, there's one reason I can tell you what my favourite is straight away. It's not the first one.
Oh no.
It's not the second one.
Okay.
It's not the third one.
Good.
It's Resurrection. Of course, because big man Ron Perlman's in it.
Yeah, I thought so.
I thought I'd get away with it. No, I think it is one of my favourite. I'd only seen the first and second one, I think when I was like 16 or something, and then I bought the box set a few years ago, and I watched 3 and 4, and I there's a very equal, because they're all very different films, so I think people really struggle to compare them sometimes.
Definitely.
And I really liked Alien vs Predator and Alien vs Predator 2 when I was younger, because they had a real mix of like the horror and action sequences sometimes, because they were a lot more modern. I know people really do not like them, but that's why I enjoyed. That's why I also really enjoyed Prometheus when it came out.
Yeah.
And look at how big the franchise is for all films.
Exactly.
Like, got the new Predator coming out as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was happening.
Yep, that's a big deal. I actually the Predators I enjoyed. That was who directed that? Let's find out.
I can't tell you.
No, I had that. I have that on DVD.
Do you want to know a secret?
What?
I haven't seen Resurrection.
Have you not?
No, I haven't actually.
Have you really not?
No.
No, Predators, because I watched Predators because it had Adrian Brody in it. Yeah. And I was a big fan of King Kong.
Okay. Yeah.
That was what it was produced by Robert Rodriguez.
Wow.
That's why, because his name was all over the thing, and I must have thought that he actually directed it as well. But obviously he did. He obviously did the other Predators, and he did Machete and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which was quite nice because Danny Trejo's actually in that Predators film.
But
back to Alien. Really excited for the for
Covenant.
Yeah, Covenant. It should be really, really good, and it's difficult with the difference between the films. But I think probably Ron Perlman takes Resurrection for me, and also that's the one with like the weird baby man alien.
Okay.
That gets sucked out into space. Spoilers. But no, they're very weird. They're very weird films, and it's very difficult when there's a lot of people putting their imaginative juices into it, when it's not just Ridley Scott. So it's quite nice with Prometheus and Covenant how they've sort of
it's him now.
Yeah, it's his franchise again, and we can sort of get on with it. So that, like, what we've seen in the Covenant already, like, it's going to be very good. I think it's out this week, so we'll definitely go see it in a couple of days. So we'll definitely be talking about that next week.
Yes, please.
But no, I'm really excited for it. What, like, is the series as a whole your opinion? Because you haven't seen all of it, like you said. I don't know how many of the Predators and Alien vs Predators.
I only haven't seen Resurrection.
Oh, okay. So I mean, like, it's a really big universe. So it's
very
quite
expansive.
Crazy.
There's a lot for fans to lose themselves in. I like that we've sort of glossed over Alien 3 or Alien Cubed as it's stylized. I remember seeing that at a friend's house, but we were all too scared to watch it, so we were like switching the telly between Alien 3 and the Jonathan Ross show.
Alien 3 is the prison planet one, isn't it? That's I quite like that one.
David Fincher, I believe.
Yeah, he famously
disowned that film.
Wow.
Not happy with it.
No, it's really interesting though, but I think is there anything else?
Yeah, actually.
Ooh.
Alien Awakening, the next Alien film, has been confirmed.
Of course.
Shooting in 14 months' time.
That's crazy, isn't it?
He is an absolute machine.
just keeps going. But it's not so much like, oh, let's start shooting, but it's like coming up with everything, sorting. Like there's so much going into making these films, and because you know the amount of effort and detail that he really puts in, like they're his own babies, like in a way. So you know that it's not rushed. No. But then when his films come out, and you can instantly announce that, yep, we're starting shooting the next one soon, and it's crazy because you know it hasn't been rushed. So it means how he's a workhorse, like you said, like. Very good.
Yeah, definitely.
Big fans of Ridley Scott.
100%.
No, it'd be quite nice. I'm debating whether to watch Prometheus before we go see.
I've seen it too many times. I think.
I can't remember the last time. I think the last time I saw it was about probably like 9 months ago, something like that. So
there are some good bits, but you've got to sort of think to yourself, how is a lady that's just had a cesarean section abseiling off the side of a cliff?
Could you not give any spoilers about Prometheus, please? You didn't give a warning there.
Well,
but no. Is that? Are we?
Yeah, we're so done.
Yeah, we're so done. It's been a long day.
It has. It's been a very long day.
But yeah, do you want to? As the bit I always write at the end of this, do you want to say about your who you like?
Hello, I'm Owen.
Are you?
Yeah,
I'm
Owen.
Sorry, I keep
nice
forgetting.
to meet you. Yeah, I'm at Owen Diplock on Twitter, but I also have a now pretty famous Twitter blog. Yeah, Alma Harrell retweeted me. She actually tweeted me directly. Yeah, so that my Twitter blog is at Filmic, and reviews of films on there whenever I see them.
No, it's a really nice system. I really like it. It's very smart, very unique.
Sum me up perfectly there. And
that was talking about myself.
Oh, okay. And who are you?
I don't know. But the first thing I want to say is, like, ladies and gentlemen, let's prepare. We're not going to see Owen Diplock around anymore. He is a big shot now.
Hey, I am.
You should have seen his face when she spoke to him on Twitter. It was quite nice to see, because I think stuff like that still gets people sometimes.
Definitely.
When you see that blue tick. It's when I get like the random business accounts that follow me, I'm like, oh, I got to follow with a blue tick. And then they like instantly unfollow you afterwards, and you're like, oh, my follow account's not going up. But yeah, you can increase my follow account by following me at DecoFlam.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, that was smooth. And my blog's on there as well. I won't say garbage this time.
Yeah.
I don't know why that came out of my head last week, but it was quite funny. But yeah, you can read anything I've written on there. But yeah. We have been the true, absolutely raging cinephiles, which is still my favourite thing in the world, and that is why we're going with it.
Yeah, it's good.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.